Hello, this is Adam Henderson. Welcome to my Scrabble YouTube channel. Just wanted to check in with you guys and let you know that, yes, I had a rough tournament. I won't say what the exact record I had after the main event of Division One Nationals was, but it was not something that I'm satisfied with. I'm not satisfied with how I did. I don't feel good about how it went. I feel like I could have done better, and I do feel a little bit like very disappointed in how it ended up. But I will say that I learned a lot from it, and even though I won't probably be playing in a NASPA Division One again anytime soon, I think there's a lot that can be learned from my experience, and I'll share to my best of my ability. I don't want to get into the habit of calling any specific people out, especially in a negative way, even if I do have a few thoughts in that regard. I won't do that publicly, but I mean, for the most part, I think all of these Division One players I played against were good people, but I do think that it was a little bit of a wake up, because there was like a different kind of tone to how it felt playing against them versus how it feels when you're playing in Division 2. And I'll get into that more later in another video. One interesting thing that happened was that nobody played phonies. There was one exception to that where somebody played a 3-letter phony against me with it was AUX. He was very embarrassed, and I will be sharing that game with you guys too, because I think it was a very good game. Besides that AUX play, it was a very good game. I feel bad for the guy because I know at first he was reluctant to allow me to share that video with you guys, but he did change his mind about that, and so we are going to be bringing you that game too. There were a lot of games where I think there was a string of like 4 games where I feel like what happened was I drew very poorly at the start of the game, and my opponent, a lot of times when you draw very poorly, your opponent draws very well. And so my opponent like either bingoed on the first or second turn, and it felt like the game was already over after the first bingo early in the game. So for those games, it'll be interesting to see exactly, because I feel like the games were over pretty quickly and it wasn't really my fault. But it would, for those games, the interesting thing will be to see at what point was there really no hope, realistic hope to come back, and how many moves into the game that was. And it will be interesting to see if having that happen against me actually made me play worse, because I ended up giving up too early because of being discouraged. So I'll bring that to you guys. We will look at those games that I would call unwinnable, but we will analyze them up until the point where I feel personally that the game was unwinnable, and so I will show you those as well. Those will probably be shorter videos. Let's see. I will do one video each per game, because I know some people have been complaining that my videos are too long, but That's probably not going to change, and especially when I get into the main event games, I'm planning on using Macondo just because a lot of these games were just so good not to use Macondo and analyze it to its fullest. So for those that are fans of Macondo, you're going to have a treat. For those that are not fans of Macondo and that like shorter videos, sorry. But I think those games are going to be interesting enough that you'll want to be watching the whole video. A lot of my losses were close losses. A lot of my games where I lost, I just barely lost. I'm not entirely sure how many of those, how many games exactly fit into that category, but it seemed that like there was quite a few. And because of that, I don't think I'm necessarily feel like I'm not really like up to the task of playing in a NASPA Division 1, but I will say as like a practical matter, it's not something I want to put myself through again, especially because I underestimated the emotional toll. I thought that losing to the top players wouldn't bother me so much because they're top players, and like that does make sense. If it didn't bother me, that makes sense why it wouldn't bother me, but for much of the tournament, I wasn't playing the very top players. I was playing like 1700s, maybe 1800s. Although I made it a point not to like look up people's ratings because that can get into your head and do more harm than good to be thinking about your opponent's rating during the game. I do need to exercise some self-care. I had a lot of really negative thoughts. I put a lot of emotional energy and a lot of my time into studying, and it's just Scrabble is such a big part of my life, and I didn't realize. I thought I could emotionally handle it a lot better than I actually did when I ended up losing a lot of games, but that's one thing that happens to you, is even if you think that you can handle losing a lot of games, that you're emotionally mature and you can handle it, in the actual moment can be a different story, and I'm still actually trying to process the fact that it didn't go well. And so I'm going to be exercising some self-care, and I'm going to be taking a break from making YouTube videos, Scrabble YouTube videos, until after, here, I'll go back to the default scene for a moment, until after Word Cup. So Word Cup is from 7:31 and to 8:04. So what I'm gonna be doing, I don't go back to work till Monday. It's Friday now. I just got back from Cedar Rapids. I spent all day yesterday flying back. It's not a short trip from Cedar Rapids to Seattle. It's not a short trip from anywhere to Seattle, but it does take a long time of flying, and a lot of times your layovers can be quite long. So yeah, as far as self-care, I'm gonna be, one thing that I didn't get to enjoy because I was playing in Division 1 was I didn't get to actually watch Division 1. I just noticed that there's an Oregon tournament here. I gotta click on that. Okay, so it's a WePo tournament. Yeah, so Mitch Beersdorfer's gonna be directing that one. I will definitely try to play in that one. I'm also going to be playing in, of course, the Linwood tournament next month on the 15th. Should I even say this? No, I shouldn't say how many rating points I lost, because that might give you a clue on what my record was. And you're always free to look it up if you're just too interested and you can't help looking up how bad I did. Feel free to look it up. But for some of you that are really fans of my channel, I would recommend not looking it up, because there's going to be I'm going to try and make it exciting for you guys, and post my record as I like on the corner of the screen for each game. I do think that even though I probably won't be going into any major tournaments anytime soon, because I need to kind of rein in on my Scrabble spending. It is very expensive to fly out all these places. I do think that if I go to a number of these smaller local tournaments, I can probably slowly make myself get to where I was rating wise before the tournament started. I wasn't the only one that had a bad tournament. I think Mike Baker lost more rating points than I did. He played in Division 2 and just got completely smacked. Shout out to what's his name? Theo in Division 2, who's a local to, I believe he lives in Spokane area. Theo, if you're watching, congratulations on your big win. I think he came in like 3rd place in Division 2 and is now 1600 himself. That's such a like phenomenal rating gain that it gives me whiplash to just think that he's already at my level. Because if he's 1600, he's at my level. So and I'm thankful I didn't have to play him in lower divisions as he was making his rating up, so that if I do end up losing to him, because I think he signed up for the Linwood tournament, if I do end up losing to him, I won't lose as many rating points as I would if he was still making his way up to where his rating should be. Yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys. I don't want to discourage anyone that's like who has the option that may have like their qualifications ratings in the 1700s. I don't want to discourage anybody who wants to play in Division 1 from playing in Division 1. I do think that there is value even if you don't do well, and because it's a completely different feel playing in Division 1 than it is in Division 2, and you can learn a lot even if you don't win a lot of games playing in Division 1. So if you're, and it was a lot, preparing for Division 1 was a lot more enjoyable and fun than actually playing in Division 1, because it once you're there, it's like, oh shit, these guys are really good. The last thing I will say is that as far as the tone, like in Division 2, there's a lot more female players, and so I always enjoy playing against the female players, not just because I usually beat them, but also because you'll get a lot more of things like, oh, I drew the bag against you, I'm sorry, or you'll get comments like, oh, you're a really strong player, and those comments are always actually very good for my ego, and I miss those comments from Division 2 players. Division 1, 1800 players aren't going to be telling you you're a very good player after you lose the game. They're not going to try to build you up. Um, I felt like a lot of these players, you're just another foe to be vanquished, and after the game, they're not even really interested in talking to you that much. There always usually is a little bit of like post-mortem analysis, but I always feel that in Division One, it felt a little bit more awkward because there's a lot more shushing that goes on because there's always ongoing games. I mean, people will still want to do just maybe a few seconds of post-mortem before they move on. But I guess as a practical matter, it's very hard to do a post-mortem with your opponent in Division One just because there's always all these ongoing games, and Jeffrey Nelson, who's the Division One director, takes his responsibility very seriously. There was one point in the game where he actually took me aside and called me out on something that admittedly I didn't do quite right. And in the moment, I was kind of taken aback that I was being kind of chastised over something that I thought was relatively minor. I almost wanted to give Jeffrey Nelson a piece of my mind, but instead I just said okay, and then I kind of got distracted by that, by playing the next game that this had happened, but I got to thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, I guess I shouldn't have done that. And then I ended up having to apologize to my opponent. I apologized to Jeffrey for what I did. I will. I won't say what it was now because that's going to be for a different video. That's all I got for you guys. Put anything you want to say in the comments section. I guess the only thing I ask, as usual, if you're watching my videos and for some reason you don't like me, just try not to comment. Because I don't want nasty comments. I don't want mean-spirited comments in my. I don't want to see them. I definitely don't want to respond to them. If I perceive something as being a little bit aggressive in the comment, you're probably less likely to get a response from me. So just know that in the comments. I especially want to hear from you guys. What if you went to nationals this year? And I especially want to know if you had a rough tournament yourself, how you are handling that mentally, what strategies you're using for that. That's all I got. See you after World Cup. Take care.